welcome in to be our guest. And you know, we talk so much about our public officials, and it's always a pro and a con. In this case, I just can't say anything but something pro, and we are delighted that you have taken the time, Commissioner John McMillan with the Department of Agriculture, and we are having an interesting conversation. You know, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and in every disaster there's an opportunity. And all of us are concerned about groceries. We're talking about a drought in California, which is a disaster for them, but a tremendous opportunity for us. And I'd like for you to share a little bit of what's going on in Alabama.
Okay, good. Well, let's just touch quickly on the California thing without getting too deep into the weeds. California historically has grown about 50% of the produce that we consume in this country. That's significant.
That is.
The drought and the competition for water has been a disaster for them in every sense of the word. I don't think a lot of that is going to come back after even, and incidentally, they're predicted to have extremely heavy rains coming up in the next few months. For example, and we've got real good connections out there, friends out there that we talk to, a lot of the farmers out there, because of the less demand for water that they require, are planting almond trees, for example, and just getting away from produce. So the point is, there's going to be a huge opportunity for that production to come to the southeast and Alabama, because generally we do have water resources, and here certainly in Alabama we do. So there's several things about that, not only the opportunity for that growth, but also the opportunity for smaller producers. You know, you don't have to spend $2 or $3 million to get in the farming business and buy up a lot of land or lease land, or do with just small acreage, tunnel houses, greenhouses, that sort of thing. Can be successful as long as we've got irrigation. Now, we're fixing to appoint, in the process right now, forming a task force of all the different stakeholders in this equation to see what we need to do, if anything, as a state to help promote this opportunity, because there are, as always, where there are opportunities, there's issues. And for example, the aggregation of this produce, the transportation, the refrigeration, the processing, a lot of parts of it that are not all here in Alabama, that I think we can be a big help to those producers.
From the garden to the table as quick as it can get there, right?
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
And as efficiently as well, because these folks got to make a little money.
That's right, yes.
Will there be, this is a question because everything is contingent upon funding, will there be some opportunities for loans that might help people get started into growing?
I think so. We've got at our department through USDA, we fund a specialty crop grant program, and that we've just announced those for the current year. So it'll be early next year in the spring before we take applications again. But that's the kind of thing that we are able to help people do. We're not only getting in business for themselves and starting businesses, but things like community gardens and school gardens and those kind of things, to just familiarize everybody with that's health conscious about it, and try to train young folks to eat healthy and all of those benefits that come from it.
So if you wanted more information, you can just contact the Department of Agriculture.
Absolutely.
Because I think that this, as you said, opens the door to a lot of opportunities. And there are a lot of people that are looking for something to branch out into, and what could be better.
Yeah, new and beginning farmers, returning veterans, a lot of opportunities. And you'd be particularly interested, Virginia, in knowing that the fastest growing sector of new and beginning farmers now are female. So this is another thing where small growers can really make good money, as well as do something they enjoy doing.
Are there advantages to being a minority-owned business?
I'm sure.
Because women would certainly qualify for that.
Absolutely, and I think both in marketing and probably in,
start a farm.
in both marketing and finance, and through USDA, for example, I think to be out.
Wonderful. I have one quick thing I want to clear up. Every time I go to the filling station, nobody calls it that anymore, the filling station.
The gas station.
But there's the seal from the Department of Agriculture. And tell me real quickly what that means.
Well, it means that one of our employees or technicians affiliated with us has certified the calibration or the accuracy of that device. And every other device used in commerce weights and measures in the state of Alabama.
Well, just one more
It's a good
thing
thing.
that you're responsible for.
You know, top of the mind, obviously, we talked about drought, but top of the mind in California out west right now is the fires.
Oh, yeah.
That's having a toll on agriculture out there too, isn't it?
It does, and particularly forestry, and this is a whole area, the land ownership pattern. The federal government owns way too much land in most of those western states. They don't manage it right, which lets debris and litter build up, which causes explosive fires that are just catastrophic. We could talk for a week or so about those problems.
Another day for that one. Well, thank you so much for what you do. And just remember this, you're in the right place by being in Alabama, because not only have we got a great agriculture department, but we're on the cusp of some great things in the area of agriculture. We'll be right back right after this.